Hello, this is the Jurassic Expert here, back with another video, and today, at least April 16th, hopefully I get this video out by the end of today, but if not, I guess this will be one day late. What's new with my with my channel? Today marks the 2-year anniversary for the Jurassic World Mattel line. Wanted to do something special. I decided to put together a top 10 list of the Mattel figures that I like, that I least like. So let's get into my top 10 favorite Mattel figures. So at number 10, well, this one kind of is a single slot for two figures since they're both attack packs, but I love them both equally. And that is the Moosaurus figure and the Dracorex figure. So these are both attack packs for the smaller line. And yeah, I absolutely love these figures. I like the paint on them, I like their sculpt. And yeah. Number 9, I have the new Massive Biters Sarcosuchus. I love the paint on this. I absolutely love the sculpt. I love the amount of posability they gave it. Would have liked some posability in the jaws, but they make up for that because it is an action feature where if you press the button, you could have it chomp. Number 8, I have the Extreme Chomping T-Rex. Now, I know this isn't exactly a common opinion because Mattel has reused the Extreme Chomping T-Rex sculpt multiple times. And I actually didn't get like the darker colored one. I should have brought that one out because I really like that paint scheme more than I do this one. But yeah, so the Extreme Chomping sculpt I actually do like. It's a smaller figure. You get more articulation than any of the other T-Rexes. And I feel like it's a little bit closer to scale because it's a little bit smaller. But yeah, but that's just my opinion. For number 7, I have the super posable Indoraptor. Now, this is my favorite for a variety of reasons. I really love the amount of articulation that it has, especially since it is just in the baseline. And also, it was one of the first Mattel figures I got. Yeah, I have very good memories. Not on April 16th. It was actually, I think, 2 weeks before. There were leaks for the Mattel figures coming out into stores. I was really hyped and excited, and they were leaking out Walmart. I ran over to Walmart, and I think I went to a couple, and I went to one, and they finally had the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom toys. I remember they had the posable Indoraptor, they had all of the Wave 1 attack packs, and they had the Gyrosphere. And then in the mail, pretty much the next day, I got the Battle Damaged T-Rex and the Monolophosaurus. So yeah, I have a lot of nostalgia for this figure now, and I absolutely love it. The sculpt looks great, the paint on this looks great, and I absolutely love the posability. Next, we have the Legacy Collection Spinosaurus at number 6. Now, the reason why I don't have it higher is because of how hard it is to find, and it does have a couple of defects with it. With a lot of the Spinosaurus, like with a lot of people's, there's like this seam cracking in it. The articulation in the tail is loose. The articulation in the ankle gets really loose. But other than that, I really like the sculpt. I really love the paint of the Legacy Collection. And I really wish Mattel were to release more of this figure. If they did that, then I would totally put it in my top 5. At number 5, we have the Battle Damage Blue. Now, I love this figure because of all the articulation it has. I really like the sculpt. I really like the paint on it. And yeah, and you gotta love that Battle Damage feature, and the fact that you could close that up. I really like this figure. The only reason why I wouldn't put it any higher is just because they've reused it in repacks so much, If they didn't do that, I would probably have it higher on my list, but because they do that, and it is a smaller figure, so. At number 4, I have the Destroy and Devour Indominus Rex. Now, this was a really hyped figure, and it definitely lived up to the hype. The sculpt, I think, is beautiful. The paint is wonderful as well. And the action feature, I can't get enough of. You get that roaring, the jaws open. There's a little, the neck is hollow on the inside, so you can have it eat figures. There's a light inside the neck. And you also have a feature where the arms can do a slashing gimmick. Can't go wrong with the Destroy and Devour Indominus Rex. And number 4. Now this is another figure that I have a lot of nostalgia for, and that is the Mosasaurus. This I actually got on April 16th. I went in the morning to Target, they didn't have it, and I got the Legacy Collection Pachycephalosaurus because the weekend before I was actually able to find most of the Mattel figures and they weren't street dated or anything, so I was actually able to get quite a few of the Wave 1 stuff on before April 16th, but all I was really missing were a couple of the vehicles, the smaller battle damage figures, and the Mosasaurus, and I think a couple of the big packs of dinosaurs. But yeah, the Mosasaurus I absolutely loved at first sight. I'll admit later that day I was kind of having a crummy day, but I went back to the same Target, asked if they had it in the back. They had it in the back and they brought it out, and it absolutely made my day. And it just made my day a lot better. And I love the paint on this. I love the real feel texture, the rubber feel texture that it has. And I love the amount of articulation that they gave it. The number 2 slot, I had to give it to this one. It's not going to fit in frame, but it is the Legacy Collection Brachiosaurus. I love how massive it is. I love the sculpt for it. I love the amount of articulation that they gave it for such a large figure. I love the paint. And yeah, I was just thrilled to finally get this. Finally, at number 1, some of you probably guessed it, it is none other than the new Mattel Soundstrike Edmontosaurus. And now some of you that are new to my channel are like, why is that your top favorite? That is like probably one of the least cool of all of the Mattel figures. Why is that your most favorite? Well, it is because it is actually my favorite dinosaur, and I was thrilled to finally get an Edmontosaurus from the Mattel line, and I love how it turned out. I love the paint on it. Mine turned out fine. I know a couple of people got like defects for the eye printing, so yeah, but mine came fine, and yeah, I ended up getting 2 of them because I love this figure so much. I think Mattel did a wonderful job on this. Still haven't recorded a review yet, but hopefully I will get that out sometime by the end of April. I gotta love the Mattel Edmontosaurus. So yeah, that kind of concludes my top 10 Jurassic World Mattel figures in the line that I like the best, dinosaur-wise. Okay, and this is the second part of the video. Here I have my top 5 least favorite Mattel figures. Now I want to make it clear this isn't exactly me. I don't hate any of these figures, because if I truly hated any of these figures, I would probably not have bought them at all. At number 5, my least favorite Mattel figure is the Quilled Jumping Raptor, and the only reason why this is kind of this low on my least favorite list is because the reason why I have it on this list at all is because of what it's supposed to represent. It took the slot that the JP3 male Velociraptor would filled, and they did cancel that one. I really hope that they make it in the future, but yeah, and seeing this one come out in its place, not in the Legacy Collection, but seeing that they didn't just take that paint and put it on this one, and they released this one before that one with the quilled sculpt. I mean, the only reason why I have it this low is because it does give us the sculpt, and it does give you the opportunity to repaint it in those colorings if you want to. I just wish you that they could just provide us with that figure and we didn't have to repaint it. Number 4, so we have the Delta Attack Pack. Now, this doesn't look like Delta at all. It does not resemble Delta whatsoever. Yeah, I think they just kind of dropped the ball on this one. You still see it on peg. It's become a peg warmer for the Jurassic World line. They did not get Delta right at all. So, I had to include it on my least favorites list. It's still cool that they made an effort for Delta. It's just like, and they include the Raptor squad, but it's like, they didn't, they failed with the Delta. So, my number 3 spot is going to have to go towards the Battle Damage Red Baryonyx. The reason why, I like the accessories, I like the concept, but it's just like, with this Baryonyx, it's like, this is what, our 4th Baryonyx? Yeah, and there's more coming later this year or next year, depending on how the coronavirus affects the release dates for those other Baryonyx figures. But it's like, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this one. It doesn't have a battle damage feature. It just has the red paint, which I think is kind of lazy. But, yeah. I mean, the sculpt is cool. I love the Baryonyx sculpt and all. It's just like, I don't know. It's not my favorite of the line. At number 2, we have the Red Roarboar Baryonyx Metracanthosaurus from 2019. With the Roarboars in general for 2019, I feel like they dropped the ball on that one. They didn't include any new species. They were all repaints. All of them, in fact, were most of them were random. They didn't really call back to anything from the films or any of the other toy lines. They were just kind of random repaints. I mean, some people really like the paint on this. Me, however, I don't know. It just, you see a lot of red dinosaurs in that line, and it's like, yeah, this kind of just jumbles up with them. And yeah, I prefer the other Metracanthosaurus paint over this one, but still, I don't hate it. It's just not my favorite. And number 1, this one, it's warmed up to me. Number 1 for my least favorite Mattel figure is this Concavenator, the second Concavenator that we got from the Mattel line. There are a couple of reasons why I don't like this one. The paint, I mean, at first, seeing the image, I was just like, what is this? Like, the paint for the purple just cuts off, and there's this weird tan, and then you got like this really, really bright reddish orange color there. It just doesn't look natural at all for an animal. It was also because it was just one wave after we just got the other Concavenator, which looks so much better than this one. So it was kind of alongside the Nasuoceratops and Allosaurus from Battle at Big Rock, so it was kind of competing with them, and it lost miserably in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, still a cool figure. It's just, this is my least favorite of the least favorites. But still a cool figure. I just wish Mattel did something else with the paint. I gotta give Mattel credit. Overall, I love their line. Yeah, it has a lot of problems. Do I get irritated with Mattel? Of course. Because they're a big company, and there's stuff that isn't releasing here in the US. There are quality control issues, but you're going to get that with any company. Even with Kenner, it had problems. It had quality control issues. Mattel, happy 2-year anniversary. But yeah, that is going to have to wrap it up for this video. I know this has been a long one. As always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I put up new videos like this one.